Star Wars fans, I know there's a lot that we don't agree on.
Race war!
But I think most of us can agree that the Book of Boba Fett about to be lit. I want to talk about some of the newest rumors coming out about that show, including the possibility of Darth Vader being in the Book of Boba Fett. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you again from Nerdvengers Tower, and man, this is gonna be a juicy one. I saw this covered on Star Wars Meg's YouTube channel. I think it is an exclusive. At least this is not anything I've heard any other people talking about. So go check out Star Wars Meg's video breaking this down, and she does a lot of good videos talking about the upcoming things for Star Wars Project. So she says a couple of different things in her video, including the possibility of Jabba and Darth Vader being in the show, which I think makes a lot of sense, and we'll talk about that at the end of the video. But there's another thing she talked about in this video, and it has to do with the armor of Boba Fett. If you will recall, we covered a story last week talking about how the Book of Boba Fett is going to show Boba with an updated set of Mandalorian armor. And according to Star Wars Meg, this whole thing has been thrown way out of proportion. While there's going to be some sort of updating to the armor, it's not going to be like a whole new thing of armor. They want it to still look like classic Boba, and he just got a new set of armor.
That is brand new information!
Now, if I were to add my own speculation on this, I do actually think you will see a noticeable change from the armor we saw in The Mandalorian Season 2 and the armor we will see him use in the Book of Boba Fett. And I think just like that same set of armor originally looked all silver and much different when Jango was wearing it, then it goes to look very different on Boba during the original trilogy, and then is different twice in The Mandalorian Season 2 when it's first uncovered, and then when it gets its new paint job towards the end of that season. The armor itself has been through many iterations already. And according to that other report, the new set of armor, or rather the new look for this set of armor, is going to be certainly noticeable. So I understand what Star Wars Meg is saying. She doesn't think it's gonna be all that new, all that crazy, and she's likely right in that regard. But I do think we are looking at a visual upgrade for this armor. It just kind of makes sense. It's happened before, as I said, and it could be helpful to sell some of them new toys, which, I mean, I'm gonna buy them. Now, let's also talk about the flashbacks in the show. This is something that's been reported out there. We covered this in a video a couple of weeks back. A lot of people talking about the flashbacks in the show. Tamara Morrison famously talked about this and even said that we'd be seeing flashbacks to back into the Empire time period. And Meg says that according to her sources, this is indeed confirmed and will play a large part in the show. On a side note, and just to sprinkle a little extra juice on top, I've also heard that flashbacks are going to be a very important part of the Kenobi series, possibly even of the Andor series, and it kind of looks like Star Wars is going to be much more open to doing flashbacks in its future content. And the big like exclusive thing that she had in her video was the discussion of the fact that Jabba the Hutt, or rather at least a Hutt, and there's some question on to whether or not it would be Boba, will be showing up in the flashbacks, but also Darth Vader himself, and we might see more interactions between Boba and Darth Vader. And according to the Star Wars comics, which are considered canon, he has had many different run-ins with that bounty hunter before, which add to the context of him already having an established relationship with Vader in the Empire Strikes Back movie. And I'll add a little bit of my juice to this as well and tell you that I strongly feel, although I haven't heard this from anybody, I'm not reporting it as though I have, it's just speculation, but I feel strongly that Hayden Christensen will likely be utilized for Darth Vader in this show, which would be kind of a mind-blowing thing, right? And you might say, well, why would they even have Hayden Christensen? Why wouldn't they just use another actor or sort of a body double for Darth Vader? And I feel that just some of the things I'm hearing about Kenobi and just what they want to do with Hayden moving forward, it's really for the fans. It's the same reason that George Lucas built a suit for Hayden to become Darth Vader during the prequels at the end of Sith. And look, this one is pretty far out there as far as speculation. And, you know, I'm just being a fan here, guys. I've not heard anything about this, but I also think it would be kind of cool if they adopted what they did with Tony Stark within his helmet, showing that sort of interface. And they did something like that with Hayden Christensen, allowing him to act with his face and us to actually see part of Hayden's face behind the mask. Again, not confirmed at all, but I think it would be super, super cool. I also think having Hayden as Vader in the Book of Boba, even if it's just a little bit of a tease or something like that, like Boba gets a call and it's Vader inside of his chambers or something like that, it could be a very cool way to sort of build even more hype for Hayden's future appearance as Vader in the Kenobi show. And I will tell you that I believe, and this is actually something that I have heard, is that while Kenobi was filming, John and Dave were shooting some stuff at the same time and possibly on the same set as what they were doing with Kenobi. So Hayden would have been right there, pretty easy to grab, throw into the suit, and do some kind of shooting like that. Because again, it is a little bit about just doing dope fan stuff with Star Wars content moving forward. That's a big priority for them. And you know what else? It just occurred to me that there's actually so much they can do with Darth Vader flashbacks. And if it's Boba, right? And it's something to do with maybe Jabba and Vader and this connection to having Han Solo and the possibility of Vader trying to track down his son. There's a lot of stuff that they could fill in that would bring Vader, or rather bring Boba, even closer to the different stories that are going on in Star Wars, and maybe connect him to knowing something about the contingency, knowing something about the Skywalkers and Vader or the Empire, and it could even explain why he was in hiding before he shows up to get his armor back from the Mandalorian. I think that's kind of the thing, right? We want to see context for Boba and how he really and truly fits into the story beyond just being a hired gun. And guys, for me, the more we start to learn about this story, about what's going to be going on in the Book of Boba Fett, taking this character that is a fan favorite character, one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and fully fleshing him out, giving him his full due as a character is just freaking awesome. I'm super pumped for it as a Star Wars fan. And when you start to put together all of these different rumors, like we're going to be getting Star Wars treats in the present, right? With people like a Bosk, you know, popping up. You know, my big rumor that I'm still on is that Luke Skywalker is going to show up. Din Djarin, Grogu are going to be a part of it. A lot of Mandalorian characters are going to show up. But you're also going to get Cad Bane popping up in a couple of different episodes. But that's not even the full extent of it. We're also going to go back in time and do flashbacks and get crazy cameos of awesome Star Wars characters in the flashbacks. So Jabba the freaking Hutt, Darth Vader, maybe IG-88 back then, maybe Bosk back then, and then Bosk in the future, right? Like doing that kind of flashing back and forth. To me, man, Rodriguez, you know, he said the show's going to over-deliver. I think they've got a special treat for us with the Book of Boba Fett. And Star Wars fans, look, I know, in all seriousness, I know, you know, the report I did yesterday about the rumor of another sequel trilogy, I know, it's contentious. I know. Star Wars fans upset. Look, that's a far ways off if it ever happens. I was just trying to report about things that I heard. Let's calm down and let's get excited about the Book of Boba Fett, right? We don't need to talk about the bad times. We don't need to let all of that tension detract away from the fun things that are coming. Let's just strap in and get ready for the Book of frickin' Boba Fett. Make sure you like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to this channel to see more of our videos pop up in your recommended feed. And go check out our live streaming channel where we're hanging out with everybody all throughout the week live, where you can bring your questions to us or just have a conversation about these crazy nerdy things. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.